Thank you for letting me know right away, Walter. What I was saying was that whoever is the first person who is here, please let me know who was the first person here and the first person to like the show. I saw the first like just go up right now. Thank you, for Walter, for letting me know we couldn't hear. I wanted to see who the first person was so that I could shout you out. So if you think you were the first person in the building, make sure you let me know. But as usual, drop your city and state so that I can shout you out. Oh, nice. You said he was both of them. Hey, one of the OGs. I love it. I love it. You guys, my feet are barely touching the ground today because, oh, things have been so awesome. Things are so awesome. And I pray that the same is with you guys. We've got some good questions today. There are only 5 today, so I get to spend a little bit of time with you guys at the end. Normally, I'm rushing to try to get everything packed in, but last week we had the Super Bowl, so a lot of people didn't send in questions. And then the week before that, it was I had skipped because I needed just a little R&R because it was all good, but I was emotionally exhausted. I was drained. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me. So I want to let you guys know how many of you who are watching right now caught the live stream that I did on the Saturday. So I did a Saturday, I called it a virtual meet and greet, and I wanted to hang out with you guys. How many of you watching were on there? Anyone who was there watching on Saturday here right now? Vanessa says she is watching from, I am embarrassed to say I don't even know how to pronounce that. Mauritius Island. That's my guess. Mauritius Island, or I hope I'm somewhat saying it correctly. I had so much fun on that Saturday. We had a bunch of people come on, and I actually let them come on camera. And it was awesome. It was 7 hours, and people still didn't want to go. So I'm going to be doing that on the first live of the month. Oh, perfect. Oh, yes, Howard was one of the ones on. So he's on here. Hey, Howard. See, now when I see Howard's name, I'm like, that's Howard from Canada. And don't remember the city, but it's Howard from Canada. And I remember your face. And he's so precious. So that's part of the reason why I want to do it for a lot of you regulars. I want to get a chance to get to know you guys. You only get to see me. So I'm going to be doing that, Lord willing, the first of the month for my live streams. And the reason why I'm not saying first Sunday is because one of the things that I have vowed this year was to be more present for my daughter. And so I've been shifting my schedule to make sure that I'm able to maximize nights and weekends and give it to her exclusively. So you guys, I hope that everyone will forgive me for making a switch. Hey, Faith. I hope everyone will forgive me for making a switch. But next month, I'm going to be switching to March. So you still have a couple more weeks to get used to it, but starting March 21st, which I believe is like the third the third Monday in March, I will be starting on Monday. So right now I have a coaching client that she's scheduled for a couple more Mondays, but then after she's done, which will give us a little transition time to let everybody know, we're going to make that switch to Monday, okay? And it's so funny because I'm like, oh, great, we won't have to compete with Sunday football, but I realize, wait, there's Monday night football, but whatever. Those who want to be here are going to be here, and I'm not going to, work myself around sports, okay? He says I'm going to have to make that one. I hope you do, because you were awesome. You were so awesome. Okay, as always, I always ask you guys to please take a quick second and smash that like button. It is something that gives me a lot of support. The way it helps me, if you don't know, is that YouTube, because it's a robot going off of an algorithm, it says, oh, the people who came here like it, therefore we should push it out to more people. So it helps me get the word out if you guys smash that like button. And if it's your first time watching, you might not know this, but on a cell phone, you have to get out of the chat screen so you can see the like button, hit that like, and then come back in the chat, okay? All right, the last announcement that I have to make, we're doing pretty good, we're only 5 minutes in. Last announcement I have to make is that I have my Bible study that is going to be starting on Thursday. Super excited. So the people who are believers who want to dig into the Word of God, come on over there. I have been saying on my emails, this is not your grandma's Bible study. And the reason why I said that is because I want people to really understand how to take what the scripture says and apply it to their life so that they can start to have power. And I'm not even going to get into what the grandma's Bible study was like, but I just want people to get it in this day and age and make it applicable in 2022. Okay? So send me good vibes, send me good energy. If you're a believer, pray for me because I really, really, really am excited about Bible studies on Thursdays. All right, so let's get into question number 1. All right, so let's see, where's my little here? All right, so question number 1. Now this young lady, she sent me a pretty long message. I'm just going to read the first half of it because it's pretty long, but it gives context. And I actually think I was going to like paraphrase, but then I realized that there might be people who are in her same situation. And so maybe hearing the longer version, although it's just half of the question, it might be helpful. Okay. All right. So she said, I need to know if I was the problem. So I met this guy in 2017 online. I know, bad idea, which I don't necessarily think so. So I guess there were red flags at the beginning, but I ignored them. He would address women as young ladies when talking about his experiences with women. So I was like, oh, wow, he's so respectful. Then a couple months go by and he gets into it with this female from the group we met on and met in. And then the real him was exposed because then he would say things like, you know how your B word, how you B words are. Whoa. I was really shocked because I wasn't even a part of the argument he had with her. Then he kept referring to women and females as B's. If we had a discussion, he would ask me, why was I acting like a B today? Or I'm acting so B, ITCHY, I would go off. So I would go off. Then he would constantly say I was being combative and that he felt he was dealing with a man. Now I'm from Brooklyn, so my so-called masculine side shows her face once in a while because I'm feminine if I'm treated well. Okay, y'all listen up. There's a lot of key points in here. Anyway, I know I'm a pain in the you know what when I truly care or love for someone and I'm no angel. I have my moments when I can be a B. So he was going through a very stressful time and I would ask, hey, what are the lawyers planning on doing about your house? Well, he spazzed out on me saying, do you have the effing money to get my house out of foreclosure? Don't ask me bleep about my house. Worry about yourself because your life is so bleeped up too. She goes on and on and on to explain just his behavior just got more and more egregious. I'm just going to paraphrase, okay? And so finally she cussed him out. She said it felt like no matter how much I tried to care about him, he didn't know how to receive it. Also, his relationship between him and his mother is horrible. I believe he's a misogynist. He would say things like, if you're a real woman, then you would do this or that. I left out a lot of stuff. He was being really, really nasty. He never apologized to me for how he talked to me, and I know I was the problem because I allowed it. I stayed because I wanted to be there for him when he was going through all the stuff he was going through in his life, but it didn't matter what I did. He was never happy. Even until the last time we spoke, when we officially cut ties, he was still a blank towards me. I asked him if there was anything he wanted to say to me for the last time. And so she lists on and on, okay, these things that he did. She said, there's so much more, but I hope you get my gist. Was I the problem? Is there something wrong with the way I tried to love him? The answer is absolutely not. This is the thing, and I'm so glad you submitted this question because I want women to understand this. It is very important that you have a standard for yourself. And as always, I'm very candid when I give my answers, but I always want to preface it by saying this is coming from a place of love. And if I love you, I have to speak the truth, but I pray that you hear me in love. If you do not have a standard, anything will come in. Anything will come in. And if you say, I want to have a standard, but I don't enforce my standard, that tells me that there is more love that you need. The problem is that the world, or the matrix that I like to call it, will tell you that you need that love from a man. If you are letting a man talk to you this way, this says to me, she needs more love. And I'm going to go there. I'm going to talk about the faith talk. I'm going to bust out my Bible. Only God can fill your heart to where you feel content. When we get into a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, it's meant to be a bonus. It's not meant to be the all. Okay? So if you had your heart totally filled This would have never, this is not a critique of you, okay? I'm just speaking facts. If you were totally filled with love, the bar would have been so high. It's not even high, but the bar would have been high enough to say, nope. That very first B word, he would have been gone. And you wouldn't have even been angry about it. You would have just said, oh, okay. I did my research. I did my investigation. Remember I told you 90-day discovery phase? And you're like, okay, noted. Perfect. Now I know that this applicant does not get to go to the next round of interview questions. Okay, so it ends up being, what a lot of you guys ask questions about healing. How do I know when I'm healed and things like that. When you are at a place where all of your emotional needs are being tended to, you can very calmly and without taking offense dismiss the person, dismiss the candidate. Okay, you're not qualified. You don't even have to say that to them. You don't even have to be nasty. You don't lose your temper because you're not provoked anymore. It's like, you know how if somebody texts you and they're like, hey, Bob, did you need me to bring the forklift still? And you're not Bob and you never talk to anyone about a forklift. It doesn't piss you off. You just look at your phone and you're like, oh, you must have the wrong number. Because it doesn't offend you. You're like, oh, that message couldn't be for me because it doesn't make sense. In that same way, when someone disrespects you, it's that impersonal. You're just like, oh, you must have the wrong person. Because in your head, you don't say it to them because it's going to sound like you're being patronizing and sarcastic. But in your head, you're like, oh, he has me confused with somebody else because I'm not the one. I'm not his person. And it takes the sting out of it. This is why I harp about the spirit of desperation. Because the spirit of desperation is like being a drug addict. You will put yourself in situations that can kill you. Literally, it could kill you physically. Somebody could beat you up and kill you. Or it could kill you emotionally. This is why the gift of discernment is a gift. And the gift of discernment comes from God. So one, God will fill you with his love if you ask him to, so that therefore you're not craving anything from a man. You just it would be nice to have it, but you're not craving it. And then two, he keeps you from choosing the wrong person. So thank God, thank him, literally thank him that you are no longer dealing with this man, because the rest of your thing, you said you guys are not dealing with each other anymore, but thank God. These are the telltale signs, as she calls them, red flags, that we want to be looking for during the 90-day discovery phase, okay? If you guys have seen the video 90-day discovery phase, put in there 90-day discovery phase or 90, just put 90. That's very easy to type, okay? The 90-day discovery phase is meant for women who don't feel desperate. It's not shame. I'm being literal. When you don't feel desperate, if you feel desperate, you should not be dating. If you don't feel desperate, you can do this. You do the 90-day discovery phase. And during that time, you're going, okay, all right. Is he exhibiting husband-like qualities? Okay. And remember, during my post on Instagram, I did that reel saying what women look for when they're looking for a husband. You look at all those characteristics, okay? All those characteristics and more. I just put whatever could fit in the reel. But you put those in there and you say, does he match? Does he match? Nope. Nope, he doesn't match. And then there's no suffering. When you're healed, there's no suffering. You simply say, next, or you're dismissed. Thank you so much. And you don't, like I said, you don't say in a patronizing way. In your spirit, you're saying that. On the outside, you could say, you know what? This isn't working for me, but take care. And if you need to block him, you could block him. But again, if you're really, really, really filled with God's love, you don't even have to block him. Because you'll see his message and you just don't respond. He could say anything he wants and you just don't respond. You're not going to feel desire to respond because you're going to know whose child you are. You are a king's kid. You are a child of the Most High God. And children of the Most High God don't get spoken to out of their name. They don't get called out of their name. The other thing is when you don't allow people in who are treating you and mistreating you, it doesn't provoke you to go off on them and step outside of your character. Now, I'm not going to go any deeper on that because we're going to get into that in the Bible study. If you have things that can come out of you, We're going to get into that, okay? Because that's a whole other thing, but I'll just leave it at this. Know what your worth is, and you only know your worth if you know it in God. Then your standard will just naturally raise, and then there's no sorrow in saying goodbye. Okay? If you guys agree with my advice, say agree, and we're going to move on to number 2. The minute a guy calls me a name, he's showing disrespect. Bye-bye to him. Yes, 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 exactly. Exactly. I love that. Okay. Let's get to number 2. You guys are so awesome. You have no idea how much I enjoy you guys. I love doing this with you. Okay. Number 2. Oh. You know what? Let me put it back on number 1 because I want to address something that I forgot to address. Okay, so let's go back. So she said something, because like I said, I paraphrased. She said, I truly believe he's a misogynist. He would always say, if you're a real woman, then you would do this or that. The reason why it's absolutely crucial for you to know who you are without a shadow of a doubt is because if you don't know who you are, somebody who is operating in an evil spirit, because that's an evil spirit, what I read. It was very troubling to read that. When someone has an evil spirit, they are going to say things to try to steal your joy. They're going to say things to try to shift your crown. They're going to say things to piss you off intentionally. Okay? They might not consciously know it, but there's evil coming from them. And so they might not even realize why they're doing it, but they're going to feel so compelled. It's like vomiting out this evil. And so if you don't know who you are, those things will start to creep in and tear away at your spirit. You're going to start, she said that he would say things like, if you're a real woman, then you would do this or that. That type of stuff will start to plant little seeds and question, am I a real woman? Is there something wrong with me? Do I have value? And those sick and twisted people will have you starting to question who you are. Now, I'm the last person to, cater to women and pander to them or whatever. So I'm not that person who's like, anytime somebody tries to correct you, dismiss it. No. Because I correct all day long. But that correction should come through love. That correction should not make you feel like a piece of crap. Okay? So if somebody is trying to give you truth, as they say, you don't need to accept it if it's coming in a hot steaming bag of you know what. You should not have to dig through a hot steaming bag of you know what to get the truth. So somebody could say something to you and you go before God because he's loving and you say, God, am I a real woman? Is there something that I need to work on? And God will lovingly teach you the things that you need to adjust. He'll bring people into your life to lovingly critique you and say, hey, sis, I love you, but might want to work on this. You do not need to put yourself under emotional abuse of a man or a woman. And I want to say this goes for men too. If you are with a partner, even if she's speaking the truth, if this is not your married partner, okay, this is just dating. If a woman is constantly berating you and putting you down, do not stay there. You have no obligation to stay there. Do not stay there where you're being hurt, okay? Get out. That is abuse and it's not acceptable. I just really wanted to say that because a lot of times people will just suffer feeling like that's what they're supposed to do, and then it makes them doubt themselves and things like that. Okay, so if you guys agree, say agree in the comments. If you disagree, you can put what you disagree. All right, so going to number 2. The biggest issue I have in dating is finances. If a man knows my career, he makes some comments like, oh, you're broke if that's your career. And it hurts my feelings because I worked hard for that career that he belittles. I got a college degree just to get that career. It's not huge, but it's better than entry level. Does a man care about a woman's financial status when it comes to finding a potential partner? I want a man to fall in love with me and my character and not write me off because he doesn't see financial gains or doesn't like my income. I do not believe that your husband will care about income. I don't believe that your husband will be concerned with anything other than your nature. The types of things that I believe a ready to marry husband looks for are the reels, is in the reel that I said, what does she bring to the table? So go back and watch. Hey, Kizzy. Go back and watch the reel that says, what does she bring to the table? Those are the questions that I believe a man should be asking when he's dating a woman. And if you notice in my caption, I said, nowhere in this does he ask how much she's making or what she's, how she's going to provide for him. Okay? Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. No. Now, it's one thing for a man to say, look, I'm doing the best that I can and I'm struggling with finances. That's fine. That's fine. I understand it's hard out there. Okay. So maybe you guys work together. I'm not saying that a man can't be a good guy and need help with the income. Okay. I'm not saying that. We're living in 2022 where the cost of living is based on 2 incomes now because they know that most people have 2 incomes in a home. So I'm not putting men down or saying they're not ready to marry. What I am going to say, matter of factly, is that he's not going to shame you for the amount that you make. No partner, no potential partner will shame you. If someone shames you, you guys, this is why I'm going to harp on it. This is why you have to get rid of the spirit of desperation. I'm not saying that you do. I'm saying it's a domino effect. If you have a spirit of desperation, you're going to put up with bull crap because you will not know when the next one is coming. And therefore, and I'm speaking from experience, I'm like, I'm going to hold on to this one because even though there's a lot of red flags, because I don't know when the next one's coming. That's an example of a spirit of desperation. Okay? If you're in a restaurant and they bring you food and it's not what you ordered steak and potatoes and they bring you spaghetti, you don't stick with that spaghetti, or you order steak and it's like cooked until it's hard. If you're paying good money for that meal, you're going to send it back. You're not sitting there thinking, oh gosh, I hope they don't run out of food in this restaurant, so let me just eat what I got. I'll just eat this charred piece of meat that's been cooked to a rock. So a lot of times, my loves, we know when a man is not good for us. God puts that intuition in our heart to say, this ain't it. This ain't it. But it is our desperation that makes us hold on. Okay? Am I coming across loving, you guys? I don't want to come across judgmental. I cannot judge you because if I judge you, I'm judging myself before God came in. When God filled that hole in my heart, he made me feel so loved and so content that when a man came into my life and he didn't meet the standard that I had put for myself, I was able to peacefully send him back to the streets. Okay? So I want you guys to feel so loved that you can peacefully send him on his way. And men, I want you to be able to peacefully send her on her way. Even if she's fine, even if she's sexy, even if she got that I want you to not sleep with her. Send her on her way. Fare thee well. Thank you for that, Tatum. Thank you. This is an indication that there's work to be done. If you're watching this video and you're like, oh, she's in my business, that's a sign from God saying there's some work to do. Not because you're a bad person. It means that you need to be loved on. If you're desperate for a man, that just means you need love. You need love. Who doesn't need love? We all need love. I need love every single day. But the where to get it is the key that you've been missing. God will fill your heart. I don't care if you're not religious. I don't care if you're not religious. Okay? It's about understanding that you are a spirit. You're a spirit. Yeah, you see my skin. I have bones. But my skin and bones are not what make me me. That's why when I die, the skin and bones stay here, but my spirit leaves. You are a spirit, and your spirit is malnourished. So who can nourish your spirit? That's God. This isn't about religion. This is about understanding the way this world is set up. Your spirit. Only a spirit can nourish your spirit. That's why relationships can't ever fill you. They can kind of tickle you fancy a little bit. They can have cute moments. They can have a honeymoon phase, but they can never nourish you. You have to be whole because of what God fills you with. And then you find another partner who's whole based on what God fills you with, and 2 whole people come together and you bless each other. Because I don't need from you. You don't need from me. I just want to be there. Okay? A good attitude is all a girl needs to bring to the table. Honestly, I can't argue that. I can't argue that. I've talked to countless men. They say, I don't care if she's living at home in a basement with her parents. As long as she is not a headache. They love taking care of us. And actually, sometimes, the more damsel in distress we are, the more helpless we are, with the sweet, sweet spirit. Oh, man. They're a knight in shining armor. They're like, I get to slay the dragon for her. Ooh. Men love to be the knight in shining armor. And if you need him, you need him. I want to stay at home with my babies, and he can do it. Oh. Most men who have 80% masculine energy, because there's masculine and feminine energy. Everyone has this, and this is not a put down, okay? This is not a put down. Men who have predominantly masculine energy, because some women can have predominantly masculine energy, and some men can have predominantly feminine energy. But when a man, a heterosexual man, has predominantly masculine energy, oh, he gets off on providing. He loves it. He loves it. Okay? So when I'm speaking about men, and I say the marrying men, it's because I know the women that follow me. You want a man who has masculine energy. So these types of men, look out for them. They love to provide. And the way you get them wrapped around your finger, I say that tongue in cheek because it's not about manipulating. Well, it is, but it's not, in a malicious way. The way you make that man love you and adore you, you're sweet to him. You're kind to him. You offer suggestions. You don't tell him what to do. You offer suggestions and say, okay, baby, I trust your judgment. Why? Because you took time to see if he's a man that you can get under his leadership of, right? Because you're the girl who does your due diligence. You don't rush into things. You take your time. You go through your discovery phase before you even decide if you like him. All right? So he is going to be eating out of the palm of your hand and loving it, saying, give me more, ma'am. Kizzy says, that's good because I'm at home with mom. Please take care of me. Right? Right? He will love that. He will have no problems with that. My daddy, yes, I still call him daddy, and I'm almost 42. My daddy said, it will be my pleasure to take care of you. Here's a credit card. I will build a wing off of this house so that you feel comfortable now that you're an adult. If you want to stay home until you get married, I would love nothing more. What can I do to make it comfortable for you? That was what my daddy said. That's that masculine energy. And then my husband, same thing. I want to take care of you. That's it. Not all men, let's see. Okay, I've read everything. Okay, guys. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3. Oh, I like this person. Such a sweet spirit this person has. Okay, so number 3. How long after your marriage ended that you decided to date again? Is there, in your opinion, a specific length of time when a relationship ends to try again? When we say we're healed, are we really? Okay, so if you guys did not hear my confession on YouTube and you didn't hear my confession on Instagram, I confessed that I was using a technicality to refer to my divorce. Oh, I love it. She said, my daddy, earthly and heavenly, is always providing, so I expect nothing less from my husband. As you should. As you should, my dainty friend. So I was saying on a technicality because we're legally separated, and then the courts, when the courts closed, we couldn't finalize our divorce. So I was just like, I'll just call it divorce because it's just convenient, and I don't want to explain my situation over and over again, and it'll be resolved soon anyway. I was doing that, but the Lord was like, ma'am, that's a lie. I don't care. It's a technicality. It's a lie. He said, that's still your husband. So he asked this question saying, after your marriage ended, because that's what I was talking about. My marriage ended. So I walked away. I separated from my husband, but I'm still married. So this answer is going to be different than it would have been even a couple months ago because God has been working on me. I see a couple new people joined. If you guys are enjoying this discussion, would you mind hitting the like button? That lets YouTube know that you're enjoying it and it'll push it out for more people. So if you could do that, you're going to have to close out of the chat if you're on your cell phone and click that thumbs up. But it means a lot to me because it lets YouTube know, hey, let's push this out to more people. Okay? Thank you in advance. Okay. So here's the thing. And you guys, This is new territory. I'm gonna say it that way because I know that my followers and those who watch me, who are in my community, we are not all the same in our faith. Okay, not everybody believes in God. Not everybody believes in the Bible. So I'm kind of like, how much do I want to say? What do I hold back? So know that I am not trying to bash you guys over the head with the Bible. Okay, that's not my intent. And if it's too much and you want to unfollow, I totally understand and I will not judge you. I will not think anything bad, okay? But according to the Bible, if our marriage ends, we are supposed to stay single. Don't come for me. That's Matthew, I believe, chapter 5. Okay? I just read it this morning and I was like, oh, because I try to read through, read my scripture as much as I can, but this is why I have to read it on a regular basis so I don't forget stuff. So for my believers, I hope I don't lose you guys if I go into detail. Okay, for my believers, let me give you some scriptural context. In the Old Testament, okay, and my non-believers, just bear with me, okay? Just a little quick Bible information. In the Old Testament, the Bible says that you could put away your spouse if there was fornication, if there was adultery, if someone cheats, okay, has sex with someone else outside of your marriage partner. You could put them away. However, if the person who was married, either one of those people, from my understanding of the scripture, I'm sorry, that was the Old Testament, okay? That they allowed the person to get a divorce. Because before it was like, what do we do? What do we do? And they said, well, if they cheat on you physically, then you can have a divorce, because they were trying to be, be sensitive. When Jesus came on the scene, he said, not only does the Old Testament still stand, the law, he said, but if you marry again after you get divorced, meaning you have the whole shebang that you do with your partner, you are committing adultery. And I realized, because in God's eyes, you're still married. That was a covenant. You entered into a blood covenant with God saying, till death do us part. So just because you divorced, that just means you separated from each other. You're still married. I know that's not trendy in 2022, but that's what the scripture says. You talk about conviction, and I said, woo. And what's interesting is I had been dating during my separation and felt nothing wrong, because obviously I hadn't read up on the scripture. And so a couple months back, God put it on my heart to stop dating. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness I had stopped dating, because now that I'm reading the scripture, I'm like, I don't want to be out of order. But the thing is that he has given me so much peace. I don't feel like I'm missing out. He's given me so much fulfillment in what I have been doing. I don't feel like I'm missing out. Now, had this been a year ago, I would have been devastated. Like, there is no way I could be single. Are you kidding me? I left my situation so that I could possibly meet the person I'm supposed to be with. I could find my soulmate. And now that I'm older, I can finally see what I'm compatible with. And now that I know what to look for, I would have been freaking out. So if what I'm saying freaks you out, pray about it and ask God to take away the fear and ask him to speak to you and let you know if that's, what his word is. Okay. Never quote me. Go off your scripture, but that's, I believe, Matthew 5, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So friend, I wish I would, in my natural, I wish I could answer differently, but I got to give scriptural. Okay. Because everything I give is based on scripture and my understanding of it. And as I learn it, I'm going to come back and correct it if he tells me I said something erroneously. All right. So there's your answer. But I will answer this question. He said, when we say we're healed, are we really? This is what I believe is a sign of being healed. When you cannot be provoked anymore. When you are not emotional anymore. When things happen to you that you don't exactly, like you wouldn't wish to happen. When things that happen to you that you wouldn't want to happen, and you're not provoked, when you do not become emotional, that to me is a sign of healing. So if somebody curses me out, I know it has nothing to do with me. I'm like, oh, they must really be going through something. And it can roll off my back, because I'm starting to see things differently. Now that I'm understanding human nature and I'm starting to understand more about the spirit realm, I truly understand. I get it. That when somebody acts like that, it's not about me. I know when I've done something, and I know when I haven't done something to deserve that. So when somebody does something and it doesn't bother me, that's when I know that I'm healed. So I'll tell on myself, okay, because I don't want the enemy to make it seem like, oh, she thinks she's arrived and she's I ask God to work on my pride. I don't want to be a person that's prideful. Somebody called me out on Instagram last week, and I was devastated. At first, it pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, and then I was devastated, and so I went to God and I said, God, is there any truth in what she said? Am I prideful? So what she said, you'd reach more people if you weren't so prideful. And I was thinking, like, my heart is so pure. I love people. What are you talking about? And what it was is that the way that I was speaking, I use humor. I was using humor. I jokingly said, I'm the dating coach that'll snatch your edges out, because I was trying to use humor. It was being very, very blunt with people. And I'm like, the truth will set you free. But what she said, and I received the spirit in what she said it. She said, when I calmed down, I actually wanted to get context. And she said, not everybody is healed yet. And so when you're coming in so raw, it's like, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like whiplash. You know, it's like, man, I'm trying to take this medicine, but ouch, it is rough going down. So the Lord showed me, you can be softer in your approach. It's like, you got to know your audience. And so even though I had good intentions, I thought that my humor was making it more palatable. Like, let's laugh at this. When I saw it from someone else's perspective, I said, oh, I don't want anybody to be offended. Okay. So when you're doing things the right way, you're not gonna, in my belief, you're not gonna hurt people in the process. It's gonna be received in the spirit in which it was given. So I don't mind pulling back the jokey jokes if it means that more people can actually hear without having their feelings hurt or rubbing them the wrong way. So I say that to say today, I said, okay, God, I don't feel this pride, but I want it to be out of me if it's in there. And I pray this prayer, if there's anything in me that just is not lovely, take it out. And honey, you know, they say be careful what you pray for. I have had so many encounters over the past week with some of the most arrogant, prideful people who have pushed every button. And if you guys saw my live stream about buttons, and I call it, like, I used an analogy of belt loops and a belt. Honey, I want to get to the place where I don't have any buttons, but clearly there was a pride button, because when these people were talking, I was like, oh, the pride, woo. And so I know even the people who aren't Christians say this: if something triggers you, that's an indication of a mirror. You're looking in a mirror. That's the thing that you need to work on. So I said, oh, I must have a lot of pride in there that needs to go. So I say that to say, if you have buttons that can be pushed, there's still more healing to do. Okay. But don't be discouraged. It's a journey. It is a journey. It is a marathon, not a sprint. So don't be upset. Maybe 10 things used to bug you and now only 3 things bug you. That's progress, all right? And keep striving for there to be no buttons that can be pushed. All right, guys? Are you guys digging this stuff? I don't want to go too, like, nitty gritty. Okay, we're going to move on to number 4. All right, and see, God knew. He only gave me 5 questions today, because these were a little, I wanted to unpack these a little more, and I feel like sometimes I have to rush through to try to get all 10. All right, so if you guys are enjoying this, let me know. Because all I have to go off are the comments. Okay. Number 4, I lost my job about 6 months ago, but luckily got a new job afterwards. And 2 months later, I was able to buy a condo. After being at my condo no more than a month or 2, I got a boyfriend. I met him at work, and he's one of the managers at our work. He moved in after 1 month of dating. He was previously living with his mother. Oh, he's 36 and I'm 30. Our birthdays are 2 months apart. We've been together for 6 months. When can I expect an engagement? Okay. As a big sister, my antennas are like, as a big sis, I want to grab you through the internet and just hug you and not let you go. All right. I'm not going to use sarcasm. See, the old me, a little bit came out. A little bit of theatrics came out, but I want to be loving because I don't want someone to think I'm being condescending. See, he's working on me. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. All right. Number 1, he's a manager. That could be tricky. Okay? That could be very tricky. Being in a relationship with someone who's your superior. Period. That's just going to be tricky. 2, you dated for 1 month. 90-day discovery phase for a reason. You want at least 90 days to just even investigate the person's personality, to even see if you want to even date him. All right? Because you can't even make an assessment whether or not you even want to start to like him, rather. Not even date him, just start to like him. So the first month, this has been scientifically proven, and I believe her name was Amy Chan. There's a woman that I shared her post. It has been scientifically proven that we are doped up during the first 90 days. I found this out after my 90-day discovery phase, okay, video. And it just further proves it. We are doped up on dopamine and is it oxytocin, I believe? So we're so doped up that things that normally would bother us don't bother us, which is why we don't act our normal way. We let things slide, we let things go. It's like whatever. And you also act extremely great. That's why I say when you first get a job, you're in your best behavior, you're getting there early, everything's iron starched, and you're like going above and beyond. Man, after you've been there for like a couple months, you're like, they're going to get me when they get me. I'm going to come to work when I go to work. You come in looking bummy. It's just human nature. So you're not even getting to know this guy in his true nature yet. And after a month he's living it with you, huge issue, huge issue, huge issue. Number 2, living together, I'm just going to be blunt. Living together means that you are having sex. He said, child, I'm going to have a 1-year discovery. Girl, don't make me lose my cool winter. Oh, inside joke, you guys. She gonna make me lose my whole cool. Okay, I'm not gonna start laughing in this live stream. Child. Yes, girl. See, that's my girl right there. Okay, let me get back on track. Okay, so you don't want to have sex with him because when you have sex with him, your body as a woman begins to release a chemical that also is used to bond with your baby. You are going to become chemically dependent on this man. You are going to become so bonded, and that's just in the natural. Now, if we cross over to the spirit realm, you are creating a spiritual tie with this person, and you have not even vetted him. Okay? So you are attaching yourself, living together with him, emotionally. She said, I'm sorry. No, I needed that laugh, girl. Emotionally you're tying, and now you are spiritually tying yourself to this person. So therefore, if you find out in month number 2 that he's a disaster, you are going to have the hardest time letting him go because there's going to be so much to untangle. He has to physically move out. You have to deal with the chemicals that you're going to have to, or you're going to have a withdrawal. Literally, it's going to be like kicking a drug habit. You're going to have chemical withdrawals. And then on a spirit level, you're going to be battling a spiritual attack. Okay? I'm telling you guys, I know not all of you believe the same thing I do, but it opens up portals in the spirit realm. Something comes into the woman in the spirit realm when she lets a man in who's not her husband. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay? We can go deeper if you guys want to my Bible study. Okay? I'm not going to go super deep on my public platform. So Bible study, we finna go deep in this stuff. Okay? But I cannot stress enough, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. Okay? The next thing that was a red flag, he was previously living with his mother. This tells you, now, there are certain exceptions where the man is the one taking care of the mom. But if that was the case, he wouldn't have left his mom. He would have stayed with her because he's her caretaker. 9 times out of 10, if a man is staying with his mom or dad, it's because they are providing for him. The type of men that my girls, my women, my followers, my community, the type of women that my women want are providers. You long to be the feminine role. And so if you are with a man who is demonstrating that he does not have the 80% masculine energy, because the masculine energy wants to protect and provide. A majority masculine energy man would be mortified at the idea of a woman paying the bills, owning the house. Even the men who are good men, they struggle with their ego. Even if it's a good woman who's like, look, babe, I want you to save your money and invest in yourself and I can do it. They still struggle. They're like, oh, and they cannot wait for the second that they can put their name on the deed or get their own place. Okay? A lot of guys will say, I want you to sell your house and then we'll move in somewhere together. So that is a red flag to me. I know for a fact, or I should say I could take a very educated guess, you want an 80% masculine man. By the way, the reason why I'm saying 80% and not 100%, nobody wants a 100% masculine man. And nobody wants a 100% feminine woman. Okay? I'll tell you why. Because a 100% feminine woman has no grip. She is always going to be in her emotions. She is always going to be creative. She's always going to be like, every now and then, like, you need to be able to tap into your masculine energy to make decisions. If she has a business, she needs to tap into her masculine energy to run the business. If she is dealing with kids, she has to tap into her masculine energy. You do not want all, okay? So a masculine man with 100% masculine energy will not have ability to be sensitive. He will not know when to tap into his emotions. He will not be able to be compassionate because he will be so rigid in his masculine energy. So you want that beautiful balance. But the way it works is with a stereotypical heterosexual couple, you will have 80% masculine energy and then 20% feminine. And then with a feminine woman who is heterosexual, she's going to have 80% feminine energy and 20% masculine energy. The beauty is when you know when to tap into either, and then it comes together in a complementary way, and they call it yin and yang in the Hindu, is it Hindu culture? No, in the Buddhist culture, I think they call it, they refer to it as yin and yang, because you complement each other, okay? But the problem is that a lot of women in 2022 have like way too much masculine energy, and a lot of the men in 2022 have way too much feminine energy, and they're getting pissed at each other because they're not what each other needs. Okay? But you're attracting that because you're off balance. So when you start tapping into your feminine energy women and you start tapping into your masculine energy men, you're going to attract your complement. Right now, you are attracting your complement because you're out of balance. But when you get your balance right, you are going to attract your new balance, okay? So get out of your masculine energy, women. Get back into your feminine house so that you can attract a masculine man. You repel an 80% masculine man when you come in with masculine energy because he's heterosexual. If he wanted to be with another masculine energy person, he would be with a man. He doesn't want to be with a man. He wants to be with a woman. So you're confusing him because you look like the package, but your energy is masculine, and he's going to be like, does not compute, and he's going to walk away. So you're repelling. And guy, if you're not stepping up, if you're not doing what you need to do to stay in your masculine energy, you're going to repel the good girls who are feminine, because they're going to say, you're not masculine. If I wanted to be with another chick, or if I wanted to wear the pants, I'd have worn the pants. A lot of women say, I don't mind being feminine, but the guy doesn't make me feel safe. Okay, so learn how to be safe, men. Learn how to project safety. So huge red flag if he's living with mom. And now he's coming to live with you. That sounds like a person who is a user. You deserve more love. You deserve more. All right, number 5. How are you guys doing? Number 5. Does a guy have to kiss on the first date to determine if he wants to see a woman again for a second date? I've gone on many first dates in general, and I prefer to kiss on a third date after building an emotional connection. As you should. Should not be a pressure situation. As a manager, something's off if he's living with his mom. Have him move back so you can figure things out. I love it. You guys are on it tonight. Okay, she said, I've had multiple guys say that they don't know if they can see me again until they kiss me on the first date to see if there's a spark. One of my friends caught herpes type 1 for kissing too many guys on the first date, so I'm holding back because of that. Okay, herpes aside, my love, I don't like to kiss until I have an emotional attachment either. And, hey Doug, hi my love. And, if you watched my video with Chantel Hyde, no kissing for 3 months, okay, if you watched that video, I interviewed her. She scientifically, no, for real, Kizzy, for real. I'm with you, girl. Now that I understand what's going on, for real. She said she don't want to kiss till marriage at this point. So, what was I going to say? Oh, so Chantal Hyde discovered that, just like I said, there is a bond when you have sex. There's a different chemical that gets it gets released in a woman. Doesn't happen to the man. It gets released in the woman, and it's released through kiss. Kissing is the trigger. Kissing is the trigger. Why do you think for foreplay women say, I want to kiss first? Have you ever had a guy just try to get right to the business and skip all the passionate kissing? Ew. Women are like, ew, as if. They're like, do the foreplay. Why? Because the foreplay in the kissing, the gentle kissing, that is what triggered. Yes, there are times where she could just be like, let's do a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But that's not the norm, okay? That's like a one-off. Most women want to be caressed and loved and kissed on and made love to. So that chemical is released through kissing. And so exactly, Kizzy says, I'm not about to be blinded by you being a good kisser. Oh, no. Do you know, I have had people that come to me for guidance, and I say, what do you like about him? And one of them is, oh, he's got some good you know what. So if you use your mind and you understand all the things that are out there to trip you up, if you understand, it's like knowing that there's a robber in the area, lock your doors, deadbolt them, put some bars on your window. Women, you need to use your information, the knowledge that you get over time, and apply it. When you apply it, that's wisdom. You start to have wisdom. So if you understand that all these chemicals are going to be released that make you addicted, doesn't it behoove you to wait until you've even seen what kind of a guy he is? And a month is not enough. 2 months is not enough. 3 months was the absolute minimum. I just gave 3 months as a minimum because most times the representative comes out after 3 months. Why? Because all the chemicals have started to equalize. They've started to normalize. And I'm not going to make it sound like these people are evil. Oh, yeah, well, he shouldn't have his representative. Before you judge, you have a representative too. When you're high on chemicals, you act differently. It's when you relax when they see the real you. Anytime he FaceTimes, you're throwing on a full face of makeup. And child, if he lives with you for 6 years, you're not going to be putting a full face on. He going to see you in your sweats. He's going to see the real you. But it takes us getting comfortable. You need to get to the point where both of you are comfortable before you can even assess who each other is. As I said, you got to see him through all the seasons. You got to see him pissed off. Okay? Look at the question that she submitted. She said he was all sweet and saying, oh, young ladies. But when she finally saw him get into an argument, all of a sudden they're B words. Okay? She wouldn't know that until she stuck around long enough to see an argument. And I pray to God she didn't sleep with him. I pray to God she didn't kiss him. because then it makes it really difficult to walk away. If you haven't kissed the person, you haven't had sex with the person, and you're not desperate because God has filled your heart, you just say, oh, that's not my person. You can't be my person, because my person would not talk to me like that. My person wouldn't call me a B word. He wouldn't even think of me as a B word. So this is why I'm telling you, and she's laughing saying I kiss on the third date. It's not about, not I'm not a good kisser. Oh. It's not about feeling bad about kissing on the third date. I don't know if that's why you put the emoji that you did. I don't want to assume why you put that. I don't think it's a matter of like right or wrong. It's about knowing your, okay, she said a nervous laugh. Yeah, it's about knowing your weaknesses. So if you know that this is something that you're vulnerable in, you got to put protections there. And don't ever tell the man. Don't ever tell the man why you're doing it. Because men don't like to feel like they're being manipulated. But honey, you got to put yourself first and protect yourself. When I was dating, I had a rule. Men cannot come into my house. I will not go into a man's house. If that person came over, that meant I was consenting. If I went to their house, that meant I was consenting. Because I'm not going to fool myself into thinking I'm going to allow a man to come into my house. And I'm going to be in control. I am aware that a man is bigger and stronger than me. So for me, I'm not even going to put myself in a position to be physically taken advantage of. So what do? I put guards around me. I don't, when I was dating, because I no longer date, when I was dating, there was a process. You didn't even get my phone number if I met you on an app. You talked to me through the app, and if you were insistent on giving me my number before I was comfortable, goodbye, red flag. Once I became comfortable, you would get my phone number, and you would FaceTime. If you got past the FaceTime video, because I'm reading your body language, I'm reading your energy. If you got past that, then we do a neutral date, which was very, very, very brief. A quick walk in the park, a walk at the beach. No money is being spent. No, sir. You're not going to feel like you have something over, like you don't invested in me. I want to feel you out. Once you've gone through that sifting period and then I felt you out, then you can take me on a date. Because now I've decided, okay, I'm invested enough to let you spend money on me. I'm not going to let you spend money on me until I've even seen if I'm interested. I don't want to sit through a dinner until that point. Once I've talked to you enough to feel like I actually want to sit through a dinner with you, then you can take me out. She said kissing is my gateway drug. So if you know that, now you can move forward and protect yourself. But again, I would get so much good advice from people and I could never execute the advice because I had so much desperation. I was so worried about the man liking me that I would give in every time to whatever rules I made. I would break every rule I made because I wanted so badly the man to like me. Dating changed for me when I finally confessed that I had a spirit of desperation and asked God to take it away. I finally broke down and asked him because I was so disgusted and repulsed by my behavior with one particular guy. Because we all know it. It's like an out-of-body experience. We're looking at ourselves and we're disgusted. We're like, you're acting like a pathetically disgusting wimp. Can I keep it real? And I was disgusted by the behavior that was coming out of me. Looking back now, I realize, yes, the behavior was disgusted, but I didn't need to be disgusted in myself. I needed to just recognize what it is. And what I realized it was a spirit. It was a living spirit. It was a spirit of desperation. It's demonic. It's demonic. Demons would have people running off cliffs. Literally, like in the Bible, they would go into things and they would jump off cliffs. Demonic spirits want to kill you if humanly possible. I mean, if physically, if possible. And if they can't physically kill you, because he tried to get me to kill myself. And when he couldn't be successful with that, he said, I'll just settle for having her emotionally dead. All right, let's see. Can you guys go ahead and report this guy, please? The enemy is not going to get in. Let's see which one. Okay, there we go. This stuff is real. If you guys don't believe it, this stuff is real. You can see it in the comments. The enemy is here right now. He's here right now. It's sick. It's perverted. It's super perverted. I don't know if you guys saw it before I deleted it. That person who was typing, they're a regular person, but they're operating under a spirit of lust. A spirit of lust is the only thing that would make you write something so perverted in this platform. Like that, this is not the vibe. This is not the energy. So a spirit of lust, you guys are seeing it. This is real time. I'm not making this up. This is not some weird voodoo that I'm talking about. It looks like that. It possesses you. It literally possesses you to do ridiculous things. So I see it. Even his screen name is disgusting. But that person is overcome, okay? And when we realize that we're overcome, when we realize that what we decided to do, which is our mind, what I decided to do in my mind, I'm struggling to do it with my emotions and my body, there is a disconnect. And when you have that disconnect, you have to go to God. He's the only one who can connect it back. I was so upset that my mind was not more powerful than my emotions and my body. It broke me. And I went to God and I said, God, I need your power because I'm not as powerful as I need to be. And he had me renounce. I rejected that spirit, rejected the spirit of desperation. And I said, is it idolatry, God? Because am I idolizing a man? Because he's like, well, you worship him. So I was like, ooh. So I confessed that too. I said, God, if I'm idolizing men and worshiping men low key without even realizing, oh, please forgive me. And when I tell you, it was like that spirit was gone. That spirit was gone. Because at that time, I was dealing with a man who was mistreating me so badly. And I kept going back. And I kept going back. And I kept going back. And when that spirit was finally gone, I didn't have any desire to go back. And he popped up a couple times, like 6 months later. And then he popped up again a year later. And it was like, I was freed. I was freed. And I remember when I first ended, I was like, well, God, I see he has so many good qualities, which he did. I'm like, he has so many good qualities. I wonder if, if he gets closer to you, all those things will come out of him. And then he'll be a good husband because I see so many good qualities in him. So what I said was, I'm going to leave him alone. And if this is something that's supposed to be in my life, God will bring him. So when he came back in my life, I looked for the attributes and I saw that nastiness was still there. And I said, thank you, but no thank you. I didn't have to be nasty. And I let him go. And then a couple months later, he came back in. And then I think it was like the third time, it was like he just really, really, really showed how ugly he was in his spirit. And I said, for sure, this is not of God. And I finally blocked him because he wasn't respecting my boundaries, which was to please stop calling me. He'd email me. He'd find me on another app. He'd find ways of contacting me. So I'm telling you guys this from experience, okay? I know I'm 4 minutes over, but I'm telling you from experience, not from judgment. This stuff is real. And if some of you guys have tried everything else and nothing has worked, maybe try God. Because that's how I got free. So no, a man who really likes you does not need to kiss you. There are men who will go the entire courtship and not kiss you until the engagement. Okay, that is possible. You go back to someone that felt familiar like home. Sometimes it's best to find a new home in someone else. I would say this. Thank you, Desi. Thank you for sharing that. I would say this. No man should feel like home. God should feel like home. So And I hope you don't feel like I'm fussing at you, okay? Because that's not the spirit in which I'm saying this. God should feel like home. And you should be with someone who feels like God. Somebody who acts like God. A man who acts like God is going to be tender. He's going to be patient. He's going to be long-suffering. He's going to be gentle with you. He's going to be forgiving. He's going to just be so loving. So if you hop from person to person who feels like home, you're never going to, it's just going to be this hamster wheel. Everybody's going to get to that breaking point where they finally reach out to God. Because it took me 35 years and I was raised in the church. You'll get to a point where you're so tired of doing it your way, you're going to be like, okay, God, let me try it. Let me try it your way. And he going to be like this, hey, you finally said it, say less. And he going to come in and start blessing you. He going to blow your hair back. You'll be like, I can't believe I waited this long. Oh my gosh. My life is bananas now that I let him run the ship, steer the ship. She said, I kept going back for 7 years and I couldn't figure out why. I just couldn't let go. Yeah, you were desperate. And so anything was better than nothing. Crumbs were better than nothing because you were starving, my love. But your soul was starving for God. And you thought the enemy was making you think that he had what you needed. She said, I went on a date with a man and he didn't kiss me, but he got really touchy at the end of the date. I was shocked and slightly uncomfortable. I enjoyed the date before that. Yes. Thank God, Chelsea, that man revealed himself to you. When a man disrespects your body, that is the biggest red flag. And the men will try to twist it and say, oh, it's because you're so sexy. And they want to stroke our ego. Okay? This is why you can't be desperate. Because if you're desperate, your ego will get stroked and you're like, oh, that's so flattering. No, it's not flattering. How dare he put his hands on you without your consent? That is so disrespectful on a first date. And we're living in 2022, which is like, oh, that's nothing. No, that is something. I don't care how far we go. That's perverted. That is not, no. If that was his daughter, he'd be ready to shoot that guy. Okay? So, no. That's not okay. Exactly. Stroke my mind and not my body. Thank you. She said, I feel you, Desi. I just had to get rid of a guy last year that kept coming back. I was like, okay, go away. We finally just blocked him and his closest friends. Okay, guys. So, yeah, I'm so glad you did, love. You guys make me so proud. You guys, I really, really, really have so much that I want to share with you guys. I want people to avoid what I went through because it was horrible. It was brutal. And I used to be that type of person that had to just burn my hand to really realize that the fire was hot. I hated that about myself. And other people, I would see them go, oh, it's hot. Okay, I won't touch it. So I pray that some of you guys will just hear me say this fire is hot so you don't have to walk around with the scars from the burns. Because you get past the hurt, but you still have those scars. I walked away from my husband because I could not control my emotions. I had a spirit of desperation. Jacob said I'm always late. So I pray that you guys, you hear my words and you heed them so that you can avoid the pain that I've gone through. You can avoid making more babies with these men who don't deserve you. That you don't keep sleeping with these men who don't deserve you. I'll flip it to the guys. Men, I hope that you take heed to what I'm saying so that you stop sleeping with these women who don't deserve you and making babies with these women who don't deserve you. We are meant to find partners for life and raise children in loving homes. This happens when we do it God's way. Be patient. Get rid of your spirit of desperation. Men, a lot of times you guys struggle with the spirit of lust. You don't want to do it, but you just can't control yourself. That's a spirit of lust. It needs to be rebuked in Jesus' name so you can be freed from it so that you can make your own decisions with your big brain and not your little brain. God will align you so that you even have the power to say no. And then you can actually date these people and really get to know them before you make a commitment to them. Then when you do make a commitment, it's a marriage commitment that lasts for the rest of your life. Then we're not raising kids who are traumatized and needing therapy. Okay? I love you guys so much. And I'm really looking forward to this tour that's on my heart, that I'm doing everything I can to make happen, so that I can wrap my arms around you guys and put faces with the names. But in the meantime, I can put the faces with the names. You guys join me on the first live stream of the month. I'm going to let you guys come back on camera. We did it last Saturday. It was awesome. So for those of you who were not at the beginning of this live stream, the two announcements are, we are moving this live to Monday, and it's because I want to dedicate my weekends and my after 5 to my daughter, to my son. I want to be mama first. I want to do everything decently and in order. So I'm going to leave Sundays. I'm going to go to Mondays. And so the first Monday that we're going to start is March 21st. So there are going to be like 3 weeks for everyone to catch up. But then we're going to switch over to Mondays, March 21st. Okay. And then the second thing is the first live stream of the month. You guys will be able to come on camera and you'll be able to talk. We had such a great time last time. Such a great time. Kizzy was there. We were there for 7 hours. I was like, okay, we gotta go. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Super casual, and we just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And the last thing, like I said, I have a Bible study that starts on Thursdays at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is 6:30 Arizona time. Central time is 7:30. And Eastern time is 8:30. So make sure you set your schedules. I really, 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 really want to unpack these scriptures so that you guys can start having this power in your life. It's awesome. You feel out of control. You feel like you don't know what to do with your life. You don't know your purpose. You're fighting with your spouse. Whatever. You need to be in this Bible study. This is a game changer. This is not your grandma's Bible study. Jacob says, I'll have my hair done for the camera. I love that. I love that. I would love to meet you, Jacob. Desi says, okay, now that just blessed me, trying to learn how to control my emotions. Aw, and that's what I do, you guys. That's what my 9 to 5 is. I am a mindset coach. I teach women how to control their emotions. And this is going to be very soon, Lord willing. I am putting together my course. I'm going to be doing coaching just very temporarily until I can get my course done. And then you guys are going to be able to watch my course on your own, men and women. And you guys can watch the course and learn how I was able to bring my mind and my emotions and my body together. And before you think that I'm saying I've made it and I have all the answers, I am going on this journey with you. That is why I have ing in my screen name. I'm chasing Yonci. I have not arrived. I'm chasing. And so right now, I'm gonna confess this to you guys. Right now, I confess the spirit of gluttony. It didn't even occur to me to ask for this. I asked last year for the spirit of self-discipline, and I became the most disciplined I've ever been in my entire life, and I accomplished so many things with God's power. And then it occurred to me, I was like, wait, I'm trying to lose weight, so why not ask him for the to rebuke the spirit of gluttony? Because I asked him to rebuke the spirit of laziness so that I could work out. Well, I started working out, but I'm eating trash. So about a week and a half ago, I asked God to start freeing me from the spirit of gluttony. And y'all, I have been losing weight. I dropped, I think it's like 5 pounds, I think, in the last week. I've always just worked out more, just tried to burn more calories than I ate. But then I would eat like crap because I was always skinny, a little size 2'4". So I always was undisciplined. I would eat whatever I want. And this is the first time in my life that I have been kicking the soda habit, sticking to water, drastically cutting down the sweets. Like I hardly eat sweets now. If I want juice, I eat fruit directly, like y'all. So any area of your life that is out of control, there is an answer to it in the scripture. And the enemy wants to make it seem like it's religious. Exactly. You lose weight in the kitchen. Exactly. Bodies are made in the kitchen. But when you have a spirit of gluttony, you decide you're going to eat a salad. But when the time comes, you see a commercial for McDonald's and all of a sudden, whoosh, you're ordering McDonald's. So I had all the knowledge. I know the stuff to eat. I was even buying the stuff to eat, and I would just let it wither in my fridge. I needed the willpower to say no to the burger and say yes to the salad. The enemy wants to make it seem like it's religion, and oh, I don't like religion, and I don't believe in that stuff. No, this is about power. When you tap into the spirit realm and not the dark forces, ooh, don't tap into that one. But when you tap into the spirit realm in God's kingdom, your life will be prosperous. You will have good health. You will have great relationships. You will have wisdom. That's why I want to do this Bible study, okay? So if you guys want that stuff, make sure you come on Thursdays. If you're on my email list, you've already been getting the emails and you already know the link, okay? All right, guys, so I went over about 15 minutes, but I'm going to close here. I really enjoyed you guys. Oh, I forgot I should have taken this off my screen. I enjoyed you guys so, so much. What did you guys think of the softer Yonci? I'm trying to be more compassionate and less sarcastic and flippant. Is it okay for you guys? Is that all right? You guys still like me? Wish I could hug you guys through this computer. All right, so there's always, I say I'm going to stick around because there's always a delay. So anything you guys want to say, I'm going to read the comments and respond back. But I am going to close out here. Until next time, you guys, tell someone that you love them.